And we're live. Episode 9.
Episode
11
9.
5 2023.
Yep.
First day of time change. If you live on the East Coast, it's a beautiful thing getting dark now at 5 o'clock. Love it.
I love it, dude. I love
Not
it.
really, but
This is my favorite time.
is it really?
I wish we stayed at this all the time.
Really?
Yes, because I feel like you're not as busy during this time of the year because of the way
Mhm.
time is, so it's less stressful. Yes, I get that there's not as much daylight. People are not as outside doing everything, but I feel like it's a very simple day. Day is very short-ish. I don't know. I kind of like this time.
I disagree. I have to have my evening, man. Don't have time to mow. Don't have time to clean a car.
Yeah, you do.
No, not in the evening now.
Yeah, you do.
It's ridiculous, but
Prioritize.
we'll get into that, next year. We'll go over that in the next pod. But just the first time tuning in here, this is episode 9. Of course, 1 through 8 are on all major podcast streaming options that you have. So that's on, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, iHeartRadio. You name it, we're on it. Check us out on all of our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, at Tyler's Talking Sports. You can follow us on TikTok too. Doing pretty well on TikTok, so definitely give us a follow on there. We much appreciate it. Give a shout out, leave a comment. But what we do here on Tyler's Talking Sports is we talk about sports, and of course, the name comes from both of our names. My name's Tyler Castle. Co-host brother just said it, Tyler Hess. So that's what we do here, talk sports. Also, too, if you're watching video, not in my normal setting for tonight's pod.
Took it on the road with him.
Took it on the road. I'm at the beach doing a pod. So we're doing a beach pod here from my side. Hess is still in his awesome man cave, so with the pennants and everything, and the Georgia representing behind him. So just switching it up on us for tonight. Yep. A little bit different, but we'll continue through, and we got our notes, and we're ready for tonight. We got a big night for tonight.
Absolutely, it's gonna be a good one. I'm excited about it, man.
Yeah, big pod.
It was a great weekend for sports. It was we crowned a World Series champion since the last episode, so it's been good.
We did. Yeah, baseball's ended. I know Gold Gloves. Me and you talked about them a little bit today. They did give out some Gold Gloves. Nothing really surprising there with who got them. Tatis, I think, got one, right?
Yeah. I didn't really look at it much.
Seager, I think, was the other one.
I think Seager did get one, yeah. I think Volpe was a good one. Yeah, that was a good one.
First rookie in Yankee history. Fun fact.
He's already better than Jeter.
Yep.
Man.
Already. 1 year in.
Not even really a year. You think about it. He didn't play the first. Well, yeah, he did. He started at the
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, he played all games.
Yeah, wow. Every one of them.
162, yep. What a guy.
Good job,
what
guys.
a guy.
Good job. He did great.
What a guy. But, I don't want to get too much into baseball. I know we got a little bit on baseball here in a second. But, man, let's get into some breaking news going on right now. Let's go into Michigan.
Oh, gosh, Michigan, that whole thing.
Michigan college football.
Michigan. Where do we even begin with all the Michigan sign stealing? Purdue coming out and said they had evidence about it, that they knew it was going on. I mean, now the running meme is, where is this Stallions guy? Is he on the sidelines all the time? Where's he at? I mean.
Yeah, so I saw Stallions actually resigned on Friday.
Oh, of course he did.
Yeah, so he actually resigned. And I've also been reading, too, that Jim Harbaugh is probably going to be suspended.
I think the Big Ten's getting ready to step in. And
Big Ten said they're not doing anything just yet, so there's going to be different implications from the Big Ten from what I was reading earlier today. Also, too, Jim Harbaugh is pointing the finger at Ryan Day. Did you see that?
I did see that. He's saying that they're the ones that started the investigation.
That started it? So if that comes back to Ryan Day, I just can't imagine the drama in the Big Ten.
Oh, it's going to be great.
I think it's going to be crazy. And, that's hilarious if it did start from Ryan Day. Actually, it's really sad because then we just got a lot of drama. And then we're going to figure out, too, what all schools are doing this. We know it's not just Michigan.
Oh, it's never just one.
It's never just one school. I'm sure there's multiple involved.
Yeah.
Harbaugh obviously knew what was going on. Don't be a fool. He's going to get suspended. He's already got his contract rescinded.
Yep.
So it's not looking good there in Michigan. And I know we talked about him on the last pod. If y'all haven't tuned in to episode 8, you want to listen in on the Michigan a little bit more about that, kind of how we're thinking on the playoff rankings, the 1 through 4, if that's going to have any effect on that. And we both agree that there's probably going to be some effect
I think it should.
based on this. So
It should, but
it's good, but it doesn't necessarily transcend that it will.
right.
But we'll see. Stranger things have happened in college football. But this is definitely one of the biggest headlines I think going on right now.
A couple other headlines I just want to touch. We'll probably cover a few more of these throughout the rest of this podcast. But USC, they fired their defense coordinator, Grinch, after their 52-42 loss to Washington, which a lot of people expected that would happen anyway. And it should have probably happened sooner rather than later, but he's now gone. Breaking news in the NBA happened about 2 hours ago. CJ McCollum has a collapsed lung.
Oh, wow. I didn't see that.
That came out. It was in his right lung. He's already making jokes about it. He ain't too worried about it. It's going to be a little bit of recovery, but he should be okay. Daniel Jones, the fear is in the Giants camp that he has tore his ACL today. If it couldn't get worse for New York, it keeps every day it seems like something worse comes out. Another kind of not breaking news, but another big headline from today was C.J. Stroud, his performance, the single greatest rookie quarterback game in NFL history. He had 470 yards passing, 5 touchdowns. We talked about the Gold Gloves, and that's about it for the headlines so far. It's been kind of a quiet day. I mean,
right now, you got NFL. I was going to say you got Cincy and Buffalo going on. I don't have a TV in here.
It is 14-7 right now, Cincinnati.
Oh, okay. Is that game at Buffalo?
It's in Cincy.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
I think I picked Buffalo to win that one, but we'll get into NFL there at the end of the segment here today.
But
don't jump too far ahead.
Before we go any farther, though, I'd like to shout out one of our sponsors. If you'll give me a moment, to shout them out. And if I do mess up anything, please be sure to correct me, because apparently I'm not good at this stuff.
Hey, there's a reason I did the intro tonight.
Yeah, I noticed. I messed one time up, man. One time, all right?
I'll let you have it back Tuesday or Wednesday.
I don't want it. I don't want it
You
anymore.
can have it back.
Shout out the Next Level Fitness Club and live here in Lebanon, Virginia. 24/7 gym access, tanning beds. I think it's 24/7 tanning. They have no showers, so don't ask me if they have showers, because they don't have showers. They have tons of personal trainers, female, male. They have all kinds of classes available. 2 great owners. Wonderful place to work out. Give them a call. Find them on Facebook, on all their social medias. They got a website. Hit them up on that one. Anything else you want me to add? They got T-shirts. They sell merchandise. You get there, start repping the merchandise. I got plenty of their hats. I got a couple shirts. Great people, though. And if you're looking for a gym here locally in Southwest Virginia, it's probably one of the top-notch gyms in the area. So at least look them up on Facebook. Give them a like. Look at their stuff. They got some top-notch equipment. Next Level Fitness. Thank you, guys.
Hey, that was great, man. That was great. Well, what a great shout out. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And with the owners of Next Level Fitness Club personally, they definitely appreciate that. So thank you for that shout out, Mr. Hess.
You're welcome. All right. So how's the beach?
It's good. We've actually had really good weather. For those listening, I'm actually at Oak Island, North Carolina. It's a very quiet beach. Like suburban retired is what I get. That's the vibes I get. So
I like Oak Island. Nice.
Yeah, it's very quiet. Yesterday was 76. Today was like 82. It was beautiful.
Nice.
Very hot. I got a nice little tan. If you do come down there this time, though, there is some like nasty horse flies that will just eat you alive. So make sure you get that bug repellent.
Did you go see where they filmed some of those movies? What was the Nicholas Sparks movie got filmed down there?
Oh, Dad was talking about that. Yeah.
I think it's like Safe Haven got filmed down there.
Safe Haven.
There's another one got filmed down there. And then there's a ghost tour. There's a ghost tour you can take down there that I did once. It's pretty cool. Lady takes you around all the historic stuff.
Pretty lady or a ghost?
She says she's yeah. Pretty neat though. It's a really good family beach. I figured y'all would enjoy it. How long y'all gone?
We'll be back tomorrow.
Well, that's great, man. That's great.
I know you miss me.
Well,
haven't texted me all day. Golly, let me enjoy my vacation.
You could have texted me.
I could have, but I was giving you time.
Hey, it works two ways.
Space.
It works two ways.
It does. As a wise man once said, it goes both ways.
That's right. It goes both ways.
I appreciate that.
We're going to move on. Actually, I want to give you a moment to just throw out a history fact from your Tennessee Vols football game.
Well, I want to back up too because I want to give a Rangers a World Series championship shout out. First time in
Good job,
history.
Rangers. Good job, Rangers.
1 in 5 games. I said 7. You said Arizona in 7. It was a good series. They closed out strong. The game was 1-0 till the 9th, and then they pulled away, and 5-0 was the final. Just closed out the game really well. So hats off to the Rangers. Love to see it. Love to see the parade.
My favorite thing of this entire World Series was at the parade when Corey Seager made the comment to troll the Astros because Bregman, when the Astros won the division, he said everybody wanted to know what would happen if the Astros didn't win the division, but I guess they'll never find out. And then they started popping champagne. So then Seager got up there and he goes, everybody wanted to know what would happen if the Rangers didn't win the World Series, and I guess nobody will find out.
I love it.
And he did it stone cold. Like, he just did it and smirked and walked on. It was great. I loved it. Like, I was like, Seager, I'm your fan now. I love you. I thought that was cool.
That is awesome.
Another big thing about that, too, Evan Carter won the World Series, got called up in September, and now the guy's a World Series champ.
21 years old.
And I was reading, I've been doing a lot of research down in Elizabeth, and they're actually going to have a parade for him. He's actually coming back into town around, I think, 2 weeks from now, maybe a week from now. He's going to light the Christmas tree down there in Elizabeth, and I think they're going to have a parade, World Series trophy, all that. He's going to come back to the school, see some of the kids. It's going to be a pretty big event. I think that's pretty cool that he's going to come back to his community with that. You don't see that much. So that's pretty awesome.
That is pretty cool. We should get down there.
That would be cool. If I can figure out when, we might be able to head down there. I got connections.
Well, you hit up those connections and you see what you can make happen there, buddy. He's hitting them up right now. While he's doing that, I'm going to do the Hazel wants to shout out some Vol history for all my Vol fans out there listening. This past weekend was the first time we had ever scored 3 defensive touchdowns in school history. So that's pretty cool. 21 points, 2 interceptions, and a scoop and score. It don't matter if it's UConn, if it's Florida. It's the first time in school history, yes. That is cool for a fan. It's me, big UT fan, so go Texas. Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to get that shout out. I thought that was really cool to see this weekend. I actually watched the game on the beach. That was pretty cool. Hey, good service. Shout out to Verizon.
Oh, shout out to Verizon. 5G?
5G, baby. Ultra wideband.
You had ultra wideband on the beach.
Ultra wide at the beach.
You can get ultra wide at the beach, and I can't get 4G here at the house. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, you live in the boonies. You live in Southwest Virginia, the boonies.
If I go right down the road to the stop sign, I get 5G.
Exactly, not the boonies.
All right,
we will get into sports or not.
Nope, I think that's it. I think that's it. This podcast. It's been great. Been coaching basketball with one of my other good buddies, Smitty. Been coaching basketball with him. We played 2 games this week. Lost the first one, won the second one. Braxton finished out soccer first time this year. Scored 2 goals.
2 goals, 20 points. What you said?
Yeah, but it looked like, who knows? It could have been 20. Could have been 2 goals. But anyway, he finished the 2 goals Saturday, and one of them was the winning goal. That was their first win for their soccer team. So
nice.
lost every game, won it. Won at the end. I blame the coach because he's an LSU fan. Can't win the big game, but he won it when it really didn't matter. So,
ouch.
No, I'm just kidding. It was good.
Shots fired.
It was cool to play soccer. It was good to sit back and not have to be coaching or anything. Soccer was great. It's good to sit back and relax. But
I don't doubt it.
That's about all I've done. But yeah, that's it, man. If we want to end the pod there, I'm good. That was great.
Let's get into college football, baby.
All right, college football. Usually at this point we go over the AP poll or something, what's going on, but I kind of want to. Excuse me. Wow, that came out of nowhere. I want to change it up a little bit. AP poll, it did drop, but I mean, nothing changed in the top 9 of that. But right now, everybody looks at the playoff rankings. Those won't release till Tuesday night at 7:00. And I just kind of want to ask the question here, Castle. Do you think there'll be any changes in the top 4 after what's happened this weekend?
I think we'll see Georgia shift back to number 1. Georgia had a dominant win against Missouri. I know the game was close. 9-point game, but it was sealed early in the 4th. And Ohio State struggled there for a while. So I look for Ohio State to go back to 2, Georgia 1, and then 3-4 remain the same. Florida State, a little scary there in the first quarter, and really they pulled away. I think in the third quarter, I think they had 14 unanswered. To pull away from Pitt 24-7. So they'll both stay 4th. Michigan will still be third, and then I think it just flips 1 and 2 again. But again, like you mentioned in the last pod, it really don't matter.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think it should. I would think. I mean, no bias towards Georgia. I would think though that them beating Missouri, because Missouri's not a bad team, and they're proving that. I think Georgia's win there, even though it was at home. I think that should put them ahead of Ohio State. Ohio State played Rutgers. They did struggle. Rutgers does have a top-tier defense this year. Greg Schiano's done really well with that team. But, again, Ohio State, they kind of been a lot like Georgia this year. They've struggled early in these games, and then they finished them. Teams are very similar. It's kind of weird if you really think about it.
They know how to finish a ball game.
Yeah.
I think the final one was 35-16, I think was the final.
It was. And it really was closer than that. It was the end of the game turnovers with Rutgers.
Yeah, Rutgers was 6-2. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Greg Schiano's done really well with that program.
Yeah, could have came to Tennessee, but we kicked him out.
Well, I think it was a cool thing though for him to go back there, because I know when we were in school, it was like my junior year. That was when they had Ray Rice up there. They were undefeated. He got them all the way up, Rutgers all the way up to third in the country.
Oh wow!
And then he left and didn't work out in the NFL. He went to the NFL. I can't remember what team he went to. I think it was the Buccaneers. It didn't work out. Then he came back to Ohio State. He went to Ohio State defense coordinator. Then all that happened with whatever was going on there. Was it like a bounty thing, or what was going on? Because that was the reason y'all didn't hire him. There was something y'all hired him, and then
we just didn't want him.
Y'all hired him, and then
we got him released in a week.
Yeah, because something came up that he was a scandal at Ohio State, but then he went to Rutgers, and he's been there the last couple of years.
But really, truthfully, I think it was just due to the fans did not want him as head coach.
No, it was the sexual assault stuff going on at Ohio State. He was part of it, that's what it was, I believe.
You can look that up, but I swear, dude, it probably was ongoing, and it probably had a reasoning for firing. But I swear it was due to fan base. We did not like that hire.
Players and politicians and fans all raged at Schiano's hiring. Many of them cited the allegations that former Penn State assistant Schiano was aware of the sexual abuse that Jerry Sandusky was doing at Penn State. He didn't come forward about it, and you all didn't want to have that.
But we didn't want him either.
Well, your athletic program did. You offered him the richest contract in UT history.
But the fans did not.
Other arguments.
Ask a true Vols fan.
I remember it. The Greg Schiano's deal is off after Jerry Sandusky scandal protests. The University of Tennessee has reportedly decided against hiring Greg Schiano as the next football coach after his potential move was met with a number of protests regarding the Ohio State defense coordinator.
Man. Greg Schiano, what a 180, 360 back to square one type guy, right?
Yeah. Anyway, now we got that. But yeah, Greg Shaw's doing good. But yeah, I agree with you though. Back to the playoffs rankings. Should be. I think Georgia should move back to number 1. Ohio State stay at 2. Leave Michigan at 3, and then Florida State keep them at 4.
Top 4 and Tennessee unchanged. Other than Georgia and Ohio State.
If anything changes, I'm not going to go through the whole thing because once you get past 6, it really doesn't matter.
It's true.
But if I'm going to do anything here, I'm going to put Oregon at 5. And I'm keeping Alabama at 6. So I said them at 6 personally. I dropped them to 7.
Wow.
Because I was reading today, too, there's the Vegas put out the odds. Florida State, Alabama, Ohio State, and Michigan have the highest odds to make the playoff. And then it's Florida State, Ole Miss, Georgia at 39% chance to make it. And then I can't remember the rest of them. But, everybody thinks Georgia's going to lose this weekend. They think they're going to lose to Ole Miss or they're going to lose to you all.
It's going to be a great game.
But Bama. We're going to talk about that. But
yeah, we got them coming up.
But that's about all I got for that segment. We'll figure out more Tuesday, and we'll have more arguments about that. If you guys have anything y'all want to say about the playoff rankings before they come out, y'all want to message us, call me. I'll put a poll out there, something like that on our social media. Y'all reach out to us. But let's move on to some of the games we talked about last Thursday.
Some good games yesterday on Saturday.
Yeah.
Let's just start off with Kansas State and Texas.
What a game that wasn't a game until it became a game.
Yes, it was a runaway at first. I think it was 17-7, and then I think at one point it was 27-7 or 27-10.
It was 27-7.
27-7. I know you took Kansas State. I took Longhorns just because of home field advantage. This game ended up being 33-30. Texas defense won this game
In
at
overtime.
the end of the day in overtime. Shout out to Will Howard, though. He really balled out in that fourth quarter. 26 for 42, 327 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception. They had 16 unanswered points in the fourth, which is what put them back in this game. They had other opportunities, too, to really put the game away if they wanted to. They just could not capitalize. Malik Murphy didn't do bad for Texas.
He had
19 for 37, 248 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
Those 2 interceptions were in the red zone.
They were. But I'm just saying, like, for a backup QB to come in that spot and play a very tough Kansas State, I thought he did fine.
He is a freshman.
Yeah.
Where's Arch Manning?
He's behind him. He's behind Malik Murphy. So.
I was reading today.
Question is, does Arch Manning stay?
Well, I was reading a lot of the Texas fans and boosters and stuff. They were screaming for Arch Manning to be in that game Saturday. They're done with Malik Harris. They said that they shouldn't have even been close in that game. He made mistakes. He was missing calls. That was why Kansas State came back. And they were wanting Arch Manning in there. Like, there's a lot of ruckus right now about getting Arch Manning in there because there's worry that a team like Alabama, a team like Georgia, a team like USC, these teams are about to lose some of these quarterbacks or need a quarterback, or we're going to throw these NIL deals at him and they're going to give him a transfer.
I get that as a fan. I'm sure that is kind of concerning. But also, too, you got to trust your coach to put the right guy in. Obviously, he put Malik in over Arch for a reason.
Yeah.
So, you got to kind of trust that. Is Quinn Ewers out the rest of the season, or do you know?
If he comes back, it would be late in a bowl game because he had AC joint surgery or whatever.
Oh, okay. I don't know how long he's going to be out. But really, man, it wasn't so much the quarterback, other than Will Howard, of course. But Texas rushed for 230 yards on the ground.
They did.
So they had a great rushing game. Kansas State, on the other hand, only had 33 yards rushing.
Yeah.
That's terrible. So, I
think, though, they were playing from behind the whole game. I mean, you got to pass that point.
Yeah, Texas ran the game till the fourth, and then, I don't know, they just crap the bed in the fourth. Typical Texas, big lead, broke out early, and then soon, like you glance, I was watching this one on Bleacher Report and YouTube TV, just a little bit of back and forth, and like I told you, I texted you, I was like, dude, Texas up 27-7, and then next thing I look, it's like 27-27, and I'm like, what the heck's going on?
I had another friend of mine, he texted me too, and was like, because we were both watching the, what other game was going on? There's another game going on at that time that I was watching, and then we all switched over to Texas. Like, what's going on here in Texas? The
Ole Miss, maybe? Oh.
That was the Ohio State game where they were still close to Rutgers. But, yeah, Will Howard, dude, senior leader, that team, he played really well. He looked good. He did make a few mistakes there at the end, pressure and Are they okay?
Yeah, I think I'm sitting in the street, and I think a walnut just hit the
walnut
porch.
Can you go find out? Was it a big walnut?
It's either a walnut or a neighbor throwing something over here to tell me to shut up. So
yeah, that's good.
One or the other.
That'll be all right. Anyway, big win for Texas. Nothing against Kansas State. A little too late for them to get going. Kansas State should have won that game, but Texas also should have won that game big. Texas has kind of been they won. They beat Bama, but since then it's just kind of been like
one loss team. The biggest thing here, I think, honestly, is Quinn Ewers. I mean, that's where we're not seeing, like, you got to think about it. They're 8-1, but Malik Murphy's played the last 3 games. He played Rice. Who did they play last week? Can't remember. And then Kansas State.
They played that Houston game, about lost too.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. But anyway, I mean, you got to look at that, and you got to understand Quinn Ewers is not playing these games as that's your starting QB. And they're still winning. They're still 8-1.
And they are, but I mean, outside the Bama win, though, I mean, who was their one loss? Oklahoma. Now look at that. You take that away, it's just been kind of since the Bama win. It was like they were up here, and then since then they've just kind of been. They're not going straight down by any means, but they haven't done anything since then, in my opinion.
You go ahead.
In my opinion, they're just not. They beat Bama. They were going up, and it was kind of like, okay, that was their plateau, and now they've just a slow decline. You lost to Oklahoma, that was a kind of a decline.
I like that visual.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just what I think. And then now Oklahoma can't beat hardly anybody. They're absolutely just terrible. Dylan Gabriel is, ever since I hyped him up for Heisman, he's like, oh, Hess likes me for Heisman. I'm
Yeah,
done.
did you bet on them or something? That's what happened.
No, I didn't do that.
Yeah, I don't know. When you was talking about Texas there on the decline, as he's doing your visual,
Wasn't that sharp?
no, just a little
Yeah.
slope,
Yeah.
like coming off your hill.
Yeah.
So I put Texas behind Oregon, Washington. At this point, Ole Miss,
Bama.
Yeah. So I get what you're saying. And honestly, again, I think that comes down to Quinn Ewers. If Quinn Ewers is playing, we might see Texas top 4. I don't know if they,
I don't say that either because Quinn Ewers was quarterback when he lost to Oklahoma.
Yeah, but that game was close. It was like 34-30, 34-31, something like that.
It was.
So I mean, if they, let's say Quinn Ewers in this game and they win big, 56-30, and they win last, that's what we got to look at.
I agree, but this is the cards that were dealt, But anyway, great game. It was fun to watch. It was very exciting right down to the end. I enjoyed it. It was probably one of my favorite games of the weekend. Let's move on to the game that kind of you were indifferent about here. And
yeah, you finally got one right.
All right. Well,
no comment.
Notre Dame Clemson. What a game! What a game!
It was a good game. Well, I wouldn't say it's a great game or anything.
Well, Notre Dame made it closer than it should have been there at the end.
Closer than it should have been. 31-23 final. Clemson takes the lead. Of course, Hess took Clemson. I took Notre Dame like an idiot. Defense. Clemson's defense is solid. Like I said in the last pod, they was ranked 6. I don't know if that's changed any since Thursday night, but Clemson wins again. That puts them at 5-4.
Yeah, 5-4. They were 4-4 coming in.
Yeah, this game must have. I mean, it was no pass game on either side. Sam Hartman was 13 for 30, 146 yards and 2 INTs. Turnovers kill you. Klubnik was only 13 for 26, 109 passing yards. Sorry, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
I mean, I didn't watch this game much. I mean, I kept up with it.
It's boring.
But the one time I turned it on, I can't remember who was commentating the game. Hartman overthrew a wide open tight end on like a out route.
He was off.
And the announcer was like, Hartman is absolutely terrible today. And you don't hear that much, like announcers say that, but he was playing really bad. But the reason I went with Clemson in this game is Dabo was a different Dabo this past week. Some of his press conferences, he was very edgy, kind of spicy. And the only thing you really hear ever about Dabo as a coach, you never hear nothing bad out of like the place he's at. It's always the media or people like us. They're like, oh, Dabo's terrible. He ain't doing good. The transfer portal's hurting him. The players love him. And Dabo was aggravated this entire weekend. And I think that was Clemson's homecoming. It was a noon kick.
Yep.
Notre Dame coming into that place. I don't care how bad Clemson is. That place is hyped. No matter if it's a 12 o'clock kick and they'll have a win. That place is wild. But I just think the players fed off Dabo's aggravation this past weekend and this past week. And who knows? I think practice was probably pretty tough on them. And Dabo came out there, and I loved what he said after that game. They interviewed him. It was like, if Clemson's a stock, you buy in and buy everything. You buy it now. Like I like that. And if I have a player, that tells me, we're 5-4. We've been terrible this year, but my coach believes in me. And if I'm a future recruit, I'm like, I want to play for that guy. And I think that was the edge I think Clemson had in this game. And Notre Dame, they just been, since that Ohio State game, dude, they have just been, they beat USC, but that game not really that big now anyway.
No.
I mean,
they beat USC 48-20, right? 48-24 or something like that. So it was but that was a strong defense game too. I think there was 3 picks in that game, 3 or 4 picks.
3.
I mean, you go back to you talking about Dabo, 5-4 now at Clemson. I looked at the remaining schedule. They got Georgia Tech. It's going to be a tough game. Georgia Tech's actually not bad this year. UNC, which they've kind of fell off, and then South Carolina, which they should win because South Carolina is terrible.
Speaking of South Carolina, did you see Shane Beamer's interview this weekend? Or it was like Tuesday. I guess he does like a
press conference.
I guess that's what. Yeah, press conference or whatever. And it was Tuesday. That's what it was. And apparently he always goes trick or treating with his kids. Well, his wife didn't tell him nothing about it. And he got on the phone and was like, "Hey, are we going to a trick or treat or whatever?" And his boy was on the phone and was like, "Daddy, you're 2-6 on the year. You need to stay at work and get better."
Well, he's not lying.
Right. I thought that was cool though.
Yeah, Gamecocks are pretty bad. But anyway, 5-4. So let's say they run the table. I mean, they be 8-4. That's not terrible. Pretty good bowl game more than likely. So 8-4 could finish up with a 9-win season potentially. So that'd be a solid recovery for Dabo and that team and turning that program back in the right direction.
Well, they're one win away.
I don't really feel like it was ever in the wrong direction, but it was just not the expectation or level that Dabo likes. Like I've said in previous podcasts, Dabo is definitely not a loser. He's got the winner mindset, does not like to lose. You can tell the aggravation, like you said, in the press conferences and after the games and stuff. You could hear it in his voice. Great coach, and I think they'll turn it around.
I just think so many of us lately over the last couple of years, like we forget before Dabo Swinney, Clemson was they were a medium of the road team. Dabo came there and put them on the mark, put them on top, brought in the recruits. This stuff happens, and he's not playing in the SEC. But that dude is recruiting in SEC country and brings in top recruits year in and year out. Like you was talking about, that defense is top notch.
With stadium and everything in there, I mean, they got a beautiful, beautiful stadium, beautiful campus.
Oh, it is. It's great. I mean, that whole place is
super nice. So
a lot of money in there.
Great boosters. I mean, he's got the facilities, everything around him to bring in those the blue chip recruits. So yeah, hats off to Dabo. I'm looking forward to ACC. ACC has been a very good conference this year, a lot better than previous years. And my question goes back to Notre Dame. Are they overhyped? Were they overhyped?
I don't know. I always like to say Notre Dame's overhyped, but I mean, coming into this year, we all knew Sam Hartman was a great quarterback. We knew that Notre Dame was going to have a run game. We knew that defense was going to be good. Were they overhyped? Depends on what you're asking. Were they overranked coming into this year? Was the expectations too high with their preseason ranking, what they came into? Probably. But that happens with a lot of teams anyway. Notre Dame's, they've hurt themselves in a lot of these games. These games they've lost, it hasn't really been because Notre Dame should have won. They just made the mistakes, and I'm not a big fan of their head coach, Hamilton. I'm not a big fan of him. I think he's too young. I think he went from being a DB coach at Ohio State to a head coach at Notre Dame. Notre Dame's a prestigious football university, and they went from having Brian Kelly, and before that they had Charlie Weiss. They've always had these big name coaches, and he's kind of that one that was like the up and coming. Nothing saying that one day he may not be great. I think a little bit he's he's got too much on his shoulders for his age and his experience level. And to answer the question, Notre Dame overhyped? Yeah, okay, maybe a little bit, but that team's good. They shoot themselves in the foot. I think some of it comes down to coaching.
I'm kind of with you on that. I don't think they're necessarily overhyped. I think they're right where we kind of expect them to be. I'm going to disagree with you on the coach. I do think they have a good coach. I know he's young and everything, but
I have nothing against him.
They're not a bad team.
I'm not saying he's not a good coach. I'm saying, like, to me, he should have not went. I mean, granted, if I was him, I'm jumping at that opportunity to go to Notre Dame, be a head coach. But his trajectory probably shouldn't have been Ohio State DB coach to Notre Dame head coach. It should have been like
I know what you're saying. Offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator.
Or move up to like a littler school. Go to Toledo or go to Kent State, something like that. Then, it's because it's different.
Yeah. I mean, they saw something there. I mean, the guy's probably still going to go 9-3 this year. Just looking at the remaining schedule, they should win out. So 9-3 is not bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad at all. But the talent level's there. The talent's there. I mean, I wouldn't say they're overhyped. I mean, 3 losses. Notre Dame finished out with 3 losses. That's okay. That's kind of
what we're expecting. That's a tough little schedule too. They got a little bit tougher than I realized this year.
Yeah, but yeah, good win for Clemson. Not a big fan of Clemson. I mean, they're one of Georgia's rivals that don't get talked about much. But good for Dabo. Good for that university. Good for that fan base. Notre Dame is what it is. Let's move on, though, dude. Let's move on to this JMU team that just beats everybody, no matter who it is they play.
Yeah, JMU looked solid again. This game wasn't even close. 42-14 final over Georgia State. You and I both took JMU. If you didn't take JMU this week, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? If you ain't taking JMU,
what are you doing?
If you're not on a JMU hype train by now, are you even watching football?
I mean, it's ridiculous. Jordan McLeod is a stud.
Yeah.
28-36 this game, 307 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. That's great numbers.
Yeah. I mean, JMU, they're just playing really good sound football. They got a great coaching staff. They got a good little team. Their defense is
I still say best team in Virginia. Liberty is a close second on my list. I think Liberty broke the top 25 this week. I think they're also 9-0.
Yeah.
So those two teams probably out of Virginia which is crazy to think, but both programs really good. Like I said, JMU had 567 total yards this week, and only allowed 228 from Georgia State. Georgia State was one of the top-ranked defensive schools, or kind of middle of the pack, but one of the better defensive teams that JMU played, and they demolished them. It didn't even matter.
I love that we covered.
Did you watch? Please tell me you watched the post-conference with the Georgia State coach.
I did not.
It's passionate. You need to go back and watch that. Listeners, if you like listening to coaches and just giving their take, go back and listen to Georgia State's coach post-game.
Pretty epic.
It's hilarious.
Is it?
Yeah, it's passion. It shows you
he cares.
It shows you he cares, and it's also kind of comedic in a way. But yeah, it's good. It's good. Go listen to Georgia State post conference.
I love that we cover teams like this right here, though. Like, everybody watches all the big games. Everybody watches the Georgias, the Alabamas, the USCs, and their names Ohio States. You go watch football like this right here. This JMU Georgia State. Those kids, if you watch them on TV, they're just as good as those boys we watch for Ohio State. They say those big universities, and you see a lot more heart out of the kids that are at these schools. I feel like than you do some of these bigger schools. You don't
trying to get their moment.
Well, you don't see as many personalities. Like they're out there and they're playing football. Yeah, they have their fun. They score their touchdowns, have their fun. But I love watching this type of football. Like I watched that game, and then who else was it? I watched some of the Liberty game this week too, and I mean it was really cool to just see those
Liberty's
kids.
Good.
Fun fact there, you talk about Liberty in the AP poll, because I will talk about the AP poll here because it's the only poll that JMU is allowed to be ranked in. They're up to 21st in the AP poll there. But Liberty did crack the top 25, but Liberty was in the top 25 in the playoff poll last week. They were 25th, but if JMU was allowed to be ranked there, then Liberty wouldn't be in the playoffs right now. But is what it is. But yeah, JMU's a good team. They're fun to watch. If you see them on your TV, I don't know when their next game is. I don't know what day it is this week. I think it might be a Friday night game or a Thursday night. If you see them,
we'll make sure to look it up before our next pod. So just tune in.
But yeah, tune into them and watch for a little bit. They're coaching great, and from where they came from being dominant in the FCS the FCS and coming up the FBS, they're proving they're a good football program. But let's move on to the Bedlam rivalry. Whew, I hate saying that word.
Sooners?
Yep. Oklahoma Sooners versus the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Yeah, I know you took the Sooners in this one. I did take Gundy. I told people not to follow me if you sports betting, but you should have listened to me. You should have followed me, because obviously we know that happened. Oklahoma State wins this one 27-24. Looking on the defense there at last drive, Oklahoma had a chance 4th and 5, I think with like a minute 09 left, to convert at like the 45, to keep the game going, maybe to go kick a tying field goal. And OK State's defense came up strong. Held them and stopped them from an incomplete pass, and then they ended up winning the game. Dylan Gabriel, one of the key things we said on Thursday was he had to have a mistake-free game. He did not. He did throw one interception. He's 26 for 37, 344 yards, so still pretty solid, but that turnover did hurt. On the other side, I'm not even going to go into Gordon.
I like Gordon, man.
Ollie Gordon, stud. 33 carries, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns. Another solid performance for him. Just keeps breaking records. He's great. He's going to be really good in the NFL.
Absolutely.
So on paper, though, fun fact, when I was looking at some, going through my stats and stuff earlier today, total yards for both teams was really close. Oklahoma had 492. OK State had 480.
Yeah.
334 passing yards for OK State, 344 for Oklahoma, 148 rush yards for Oklahoma, 146 for OK State. I mean, it's dead even all the way through. This was a really good game.
It was a good game, and the passion with the fans and the whole just history of that, because that's the last time. That's possibly the last time for many years that those two face each other, because Oklahoma is moving to the SEC, and that ends that game, that matchup, and that's kind of sad. I hate that because that's a historic rivalry. You hear about that one every year, even in basketball when they play each other. The Oklahoma State. That is always like a bloodbath type game. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like Gundy. I mean, Oklahoma State now set 7-2, right?
Oh yes, 7-2.
And they're playing good football. I mean, they've came strong here these last 4 games. Ever since that West Virginia game, turned it around. I know we talked about that one. I was like, I don't know about Oklahoma State.
Take me home, country road.
Yes, that one is.
Yeah, it's a good song, man. Good song. Can't help
it. It is. But yeah, I mean, how about Gundy, the mullet man?
Hey, he every year, it doesn't matter who he's got out there, he always is able to. Yeah, he's able to produce. And what's really cool about Gundy, before we move on, nothing changes. I feel like he's ran the same offense since I was in grade school to what he runs now, and it works. And that's
I mean, almost every year they're, like you said, in and out. I mean, they're top 25 almost every year. Just solid offense, decent defense. But yeah, their offense is, like you said, it's pretty much vanilla. It's the same style offense every year. 20 years.
I mean, in a way, I know he wouldn't have won, but he really put the big air raid offense, like that high-powered, up-tempo offense. Like that was his baby there for many years, and then other coaches made it more unique. But Gundy's, it doesn't matter who he got. I feel like he put me and you back there. I mean, you're going to look good back there. Like, I just...
probably not. But,
I don't know.
You probably could, because you can see over the line. I can't. So
I'll hand it off to you.
I feel like Russell Wilson out there just throwing blind balls.
Hey, whoa. Russell Wilson's ranked in the top 2 in all statistical categories right now.
Oh, is he? That's who I said I'd be like.
All right. Anyway, let's move on to the game that me and you both absolutely dropped the absolute ball on, and this is the last time I ever been hyped for Virginia Tech.
I was so disappointed. So disappointed. For all our Brian Long, I'm sorry, man. Your Hokies keep the business.
Cody Ray, I'm sorry you went to the game with your Hokie jersey on and they ended up getting beat like that. But
ouch, 34-3. 34-3. This one wasn't even close. It was. I think one time it was 14-3 at half. And I was like, okay, they got a chance. But Drones never could get it going. He was 12 for 21, 69 pass yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Just terrible day for him. Probably his worst start since being, taking over the starting position for Tech. He turned over on the other side of the ball. The running back for, I think his name's Isaac. I wrote this down. Garriendo. Sorry if I mispronounced. Yeah, for Louisville. Only 11 carries, 146 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Let me tell you what I think happened. I mean, I don't know. I don't think Tech ever woke up.
Hang on. Yeah, I agree. For people listening, though, this game had ACC implications. Like, if Tech would have won this game, they'd be in second in the ACC standings. So, I mean, this game was everything for Hokie fans.
Absolutely.
And it just wasn't even close. But, yeah, Hess, I think they didn't even – they didn't show up.
But, I mean, also on the flip side of it, I don't want to take nothing away from what Tech's been doing. I mean, this has been the first year in many years that you could see improvement in what Tech's doing. They don't got a lot. They don't got a lot of depth. They don't got a lot of scholarship athletes, a lot of walk-ons. They're still trying to find their own identity. Another game on the road, just like the Florida State game. I think this game's in Blacksburg, a place where them kids are comfortable. I'm not saying Louisville doesn't still win, but I don't think it's this score.
I agree.
A lot of young kids, a lot of walk-ons, a lot of kids that this is a big moment for them, and they knew everybody. There's a lot of people talking about this game and what it meant, and excuse me. I just think this game's at Tech. It's closer, but Louisville, not taking nothing away from them, they're no slouch. They're 13th in the country. I think they may
11th.
They may move to 11th now. They're going to move up into playoff rankings. If I'm Florida State,
I'm nervous.
I'm getting a little nervous because that defense at Louisville's got is really good, and they're very, very balanced on offense. And I feel like Florida State, granted, Florida State's got a great defense, and I'm getting ahead of myself. Anything could happen the next couple of weeks. But in that matchup, I think Louisville matches up very well with Florida State, and that could be a real
big game.
Yeah, that could be a really good game.
Yeah, I mean, we raved about Texas defense. They had the third most sacks in the league. I think they're definitely top 25 in total defense because they allowed 0 rushing yards against Syracuse, and we was just raving about that defense. They lit up 231 rushing yards with Louisville.
Yeah.
So that tells you. I mean, I thought Tech was a great defense, and I think Florida State's a great defense. So. I think it's going to come down to that. If like you said, if it does come down to Louisville versus Florida State, it's going to come down to the best offense.
And not to add any insult to injury here to any of the Tech fans, like Louisville had their center out, their right guard out, and one of their DBs out in that game. So
they still
just from the get
demolished.
Yeah,
yeah, that was a tough one to watch. And
but
I've been there as a Tennessee fan, so I get it. But
if I'm a Tech player, though, if I'm there, if I'm coaching that team, I'm like, hey. That's going to happen. Don't hang your whole season on that game.
Yeah, you're 4-5. I think they're winnable games. I don't know if you want to pull up their schedule. I don't know who they have next.
I know they got UVA last.
Yeah, but they should make a bowl game.
They got. Hold on here, 1 second. They got Boston College next week in Boston College, and then they got NC State at home. Oof. And then they finish with Virginia. They got 2 6-3. 6-3 Boston College, 6-3 NC State.
They got to get 2, right? Got to get 2 wins.
And the Virginia game's on the road in UVA.
And Virginia's been tough these last 2 weeks.
Yep.
Maybe we'll see if Tech makes a bowl. That's tough. I didn't realize they still had NC State too.
Yeah. I don't know. The Boston College game, I think, would be one. I feel like that's what.
If they win Boston College, I think they can go 6-6.
Because I could really see that because. When they play, they showed this year. They play at home, completely different team. When they play on the road, it's like, they get too much
Tennessee. Tennessee.
I mean,
that's what you tell me.
Just to get a quick thing here. Let's look here.
Yeah.
Tech won their home game against Old Dominion. They did lose to Purdue at home this year, which they shouldn't have lost that game. But that was Mike Pre's first game against his old team. A lot of emotion there. They lost to Rutgers on the road, 35-16. They lost to Marshall on the road. They beat Pitt at home. They lost to Florida State on the road. They beat Wake Forest at home. They beat Syracuse at home. The road games is what's getting them.
Road games. Yeah. It takes a minute to get into that. I would go back to Louisville. We're talking about how they moved up now to 11th. They're 8-1. I think they still got.
They got Kentucky coming.
Yeah, they still got UVA, Miami, and Kentucky. So that's a tough 3-game split there. So
UVA at home, they go to Miami, and then Kentucky comes to them.
Kentucky's no slouch. Do you see Louisville running the table here and going 11-1?
And they go 11-1. They go 11-1 and beat Florida State in the ACC title game.
Yeah, 12-1. Make it in. Could they make it in?
Hey, just like the title of this episode, Chaos, man, and that
wow.
If I'm wanting, as a fan of college football, I want them to run the table. I want them to beat Florida State. I need Michigan. I need Michigan or Ohio State to lose one game here, and then I need whoever loses that game to beat the other in that matchup. I need
complete chaos.
Yes. But
I agree.
I will say this would probably just really just upset me. Probably the more chaos we get, the better that is for Alabama.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Alabama's on the rise.
Yeah,
they'll sneak in.
They're maturing, for sure. But
they are getting better.
But, not to get ahead, but let's say it is Georgia-Alabama in the SEC title game, and Georgia beats them. A 2-loss Bama does not make the playoff.
Agreed. So, not a strong enough schedule.
Now, if a lot of chaos...
LSU would have beat Bama and won the rest of the season. I think they'd make it in top 4.
They would have
top 6.
Yeah, well, it'd be top 4 to make a playoff.
Well, okay, you're saying playoff, not a New Year's Bowl. Okay.
I'm talking about just to get into the playoff.
Okay, top 4, maybe. You'd have to have somebody else lose.
I will say that if they was doing that 12-team playoff this year, I would not want to be playing Alabama in that first-round matchup. I don't care who they'd be playing. I would not want to go to Tuscaloosa and play that game.
Alabama, I told you. We got Alabama coming up here in a second. We can go into that one. But, yeah, I cannot believe Louisville. I mean, that's the coach.
They're doing good. Doing real good.
Doing very good. Let's move on to the West Coast.
Yeah, we're always here. We're here every week. Might as well just get us a house over there. Pac-12.
Number 5, Washington. Number 24, USC. Both of us picked Washington in this one. I said Washington close. I said Washington big. It was a big game. Yeah. It was high scoring. 52-42 was the final. Washington pulled away in the fourth. 10 unanswered. What sealed the game. There's tied going into the fourth.
Man, that game, I mean, we talked about Michael Penix. We've talked a lot about him and how good he is, but I didn't realize until that game that Caleb Williams is still leading the country in passing yards, touchdowns, and yards per game.
He's good.
And he put his heart out there last night. And he was. I saw that one video of it. I guess that was his mom. I don't know.
It was
sitting there hugging. He was very emotional. And then
absolutely.
And then after the game, the media was trying to ask him all these questions. He was like, "Dude, I just want to get home and be with my dogs."
Yep.
I don't know. I felt.
Shout out to them dogs, right?
Yeah,
go dogs.
I was feeling for him. He played his heart out in that game, and he's not getting a lot back from that team in a way. I don't know.
In a way, he had a good game. 27-35, 312 yards, 3 touchdowns. Excellent. He also had a better game than Penix. Penix was 22 for 30, 256 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 1 INT. But God, man, Penix, God, when he throws that ball is a beauty. God, I could watch it all day. It's been so good. But the biggest thing that nobody's talking about in this game is Dillon Johnson for Washington, the running back. 26 carries, 256 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
I mean, that just goes back to USC. That defense, man, is absolutely
defense is horrid. There's a reason the guy was fired. There's a reason. Yeah. There you go. 4 touchdowns on the ground. I mean, both offenses. I think I texted you this. They were over 600 total yards
at half.
At half.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just back and forth. It's going between the Bama and LSU game and this one. It's great. It was great to go back and forth between these two.
It was great football. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, both offenses. We knew it was going to be electric because Caleb Williams is definitely a baller. Lincoln Riley actually, I mean, he coached a great game, I thought. Nothing you can do there. Hats off to Washington defense in the fourth. They showed up. They showed why they're a top 5 team. In my opinion, top 4. I still think they could sneak in. Just depending on how that Pac-12 championship goes. They still got a very tough schedule coming ahead. I mean, they got Utah, Oregon State. That's the one, I think, and then Washington State.
A battle for the Big Apple. That's the Washington State.
Oregon State.
They could give them a run there. It could be interesting. It could be that could
be a very good game.
I look at that one as more of like a trap game because you got the Utah game that everybody's going to be kind of looking at. And then you got their big in-state rivalry to finish out the year, and that game is always
that's a close game too.
So you got that Oregon State game pinned in between. That could be a trap game there, and Oregon State's no slouch at all. Martinez,
no slouch at all.
Ukulele,
I think they're
quarterback.
They were 12th. I don't know what they are in the latest rankings, but they were 12th or 13th. So they might be. They're right there near top 10 probably, unless they lost.
Right.
I'm not. If I'm Washington, you go ahead and keep looking at that. But if I'm Washington, I'm not too worried about Utah. I mean, look what Oregon did. Surely, I'll look for Washington to do the same. And I'm sure we'll have this game on our picks next week. But I'm already looking ahead. I already see Washington winning that one pretty easily.
Oregon State's 12th.
12th, okay.
They went up 4 spots. Utah went up to 13th, and Tennessee went up to 14th.
Oh, so you got Utah 13th. Wow, okay.
Notre Dame dropped 10 spots.
Yeah, I figured that would happen. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Washington can potentially run the table here and go undefeated and go into the Pac-12 championship.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think they're in the driver's seat for the Pac-12, but I don't know. I don't want to play Oregon again.
You always have that game. I mean, look what happened with the Stanford game. Stanford gave them a run.
Yeah.
So Oregon State and Washington State are my 2 teams here that could change. Like I said, I don't see Utah slipping them up. I might have a different take later in the week once I think about it a little bit more. But right now, I think Oregon State and Washington State is the 2 you need to watch for.
Also, before we move on out of this game, this is the first time since Lincoln Riley's been head coach at USC that they're not ranked in the top 25.
They dropped out of the top 25?
Yeah. It's a third loss.
Oh, yeah, 7-3.
Arizona
6-3, 7-3.
Arizona jumped into the AP. Top 25. Arizona's 23rd. North Carolina's back in.
Arizona won big, man.
And then Liberty jumped in. Another team a lot of people, while we're on the West Coast, that people ain't really talking about, this is one of the games I can't remember who they was playing, but I tuned into it. It was Fresno State.
Yeah, Fresno State, yeah. They were ranked earlier in the year.
They're 8-1 right now in the year. They got one loss against Wyoming. They were ranked 24th and lost to Wyoming.
Yeah. Yeah, Arizona's legit. They beat UCLA. That's who they played. Pretty big, too. Like 31-6 or something. I mean, it was
27-10.
27-10. Okay.
Yep. Then they got the ferocious Colorado coming up, and then they got Utah, and then they finish against Arizona State.
Question: does Colorado make a bowl game? I told you.
No.
If you go back to like Pod 2, I think it was maybe somewhere in there. I said Colorado's not going to make a bowl game. Just want to throw that out there. I said that.
They've got some issues there. They changed play calling around this week. Colorado. They promoted Pat Schumer, who was the play caller for the Denver Broncos last year, and we know how that offense was. And I think at one point, Shador had like 8 yards passing on 13 attempts.
Too much media, too much drama, too much hype.
Well, I don't think it's that anymore. It's beyond that. It's the hype and the media got them playing the way they was. Now you're playing football. And if you really look at that roster, they've got 3 players. And that's Shiloh Sanders, Shador Sanders, and Travis Hunter. That's your 3 players. Burn it up down there. There go.
Some dude's getting it.
Yeah, I heard that.
That's Scott Harris on his Harley.
That was Dion. He's on his way up here. But no, I don't want to talk much about Colorado, but I think that's what's happened. They got 3 really good stout players. They got a bunch of freshmen, a bunch of walk-on. I mean,
I agree. Give them time.
But I did see this week they got 4 3-star recruits, and they got 4 4-star recruits and 1 5-star signed this week.
They'll be fine.
Oh, yeah.
Dion's a good coach.
Yeah, he is. All right, man. Let's see. Let's talk about the LSU game, LSU Bama.
I mean, this one had high expectations, and it lived up to it. I'm not going to lie. Definitely lived up to the hype. Bama pulled away in the 4th.
They did.
As good teams do. Great teams, find a way to win. So they won 42-28.
Spend my dollar. Parked and holler neath the mountain moonlight. Hold her up tight. Make a little lovin'. Little turtle dovin' on a Mason-Dixon night. It's my life. Oh, so right. Dixieland alive. I don't know what all they say, but they say something about like LSU and Tennessee too.
Yeah, FLSU or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it is. And Tennessee too. Yeah.
Something like yep, that's what it is.
It is.
Yeah, I'm not a Bama fan, but if any Bama fans are listening, tell us what they say in that. I think it's something like that.
I think it is. I think you're right. I think now that you said it, because we're like, hold her up against the wall, and then it's like, yep, you're right. FLSU and Tennessee too. That's right. You're right.
Yeah, they just yell it out, because they're cool.
That's what you do when you got your cousins sitting beside you.
You took LSU big. I took, Bama a close game in this one. As bad as I hate to admit it. Again, Nick Saban's a great coach. Loved what he said to that one player on LSU when they shook hands at the end of the game. He said, if you played here, you'd have some more playing time.
Yeah, always recruiting.
Yeah, because he's mean it not only like on the field, but like, hey, we're gonna make a championship run. So you could play more. So it's kind of like a little low jab.
But also, I'll just be the devil's advocate here. He's also saying that his wide receiver room sucks, and he needs some new wide receivers.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's just be honest. If Milroe wasn't playing this game, that Alabama loses huge. Milroe's the whole entire reason they won.
He's finally running the ball.
Yeah, 219 yards in the air, 155 on the ground, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. I texted you.
You look at the stats, and it's Milroe. Everything. Milroe. Jay Daniels, oh my God, that dude's fast.
Well, I texted you.
Did you watch him on the field?
Yeah, but I texted you, though, that one run at Milroe, it's like he's usually like he's walking, and then he grabs another gear, and he's like, Shoom. He's
getting it figured out.
Yeah.
I go with my team, like I told you, when they play Tennessee, and you was like, oh, I don't know, they were figuring it out. Figuring out that offense.
You know what's sad, though?
What's that?
Georgia still beats them 48-10.
Woo! Confident over there. Over there singing Dixieland a lot, wearing his Georgia hat.
That's right. I'm on that Bama bandwagon right now. That team's playing really good. I like what Nick Saban's doing. I will go out on a limb. I know a lot of people's been talking about Kirby at Georgia, saying this is his best coaching that he's done since he's been at Georgia because just didn't have a lot of talent around Georgia. I think what Nick Saban's doing at Bama.
Didn't you say you didn't have a lot of talent around Georgia? I just heard you say that.
That's what they're talking about on CBS. They said this is the worst roster he's had since he's been there. And they said that this is probably his best coaching job. And now that Bowers is out, it's showing how good of a coach he is.
Said worst roster.
Yeah.
Y'all were ranked what in recruiting last year? Top 5?
Fourth.
Okay. What's your worst?
Well, you got to think, though, dude. None of them players are
back-to-back national championship, whole defense, NFL roster.
Yeah.
I get what they're needing, but you still have an amazing team.
But, I mean, you got to think Alabama's had the number 1 recruiting class the last 3 years.
Yeah, I get it.
But
I get it.
Like I was saying, though, that's not my take here. My take is I think this is Nick Saban's greatest coaching job he's ever done because
Absolutely.
he has no, last year you heard it was Will Anderson.
No running back.
You had Will Anderson. You had Bryce Young. You had all these players there, and now it's like they have good players, but there's no big names that we're hearing about, and he's just out there. I mean,
Milroe.
But I mean, that's the thing with Milroe. I mean,
he's not a true quarterback.
In
my opinion.
But
he's getting better.
I go back to
he's definitely progressed.
What I was saying about Dabo Swinney. Nick Saban does the same thing. He believes in those players, and I truly believe I could be completely wrong, but I believe Nick Saban's the type of coach he would go to battle for those players over himself any day of the week.
Oh, absolutely.
And I go back to when they lost that national title a couple years ago, or it was the SEC title, whichever one it was. When he got up there and he said, "Hey, can I say something to my players for a minute?" He thanked them and he said he loved them and he was always there for them to hold their head high. And just, I say a lot of crap about Nick Saban because I don't like Alabama. Nobody likes everybody that wins all the time, but
exactly,
he's an incredible coach. What he's doing down there in Alabama, and what he's doing this year is, in my personal opinion, his best coaching job. I'm not saying all these other ones were bad. I'm saying just what he's done, put this team together. Because there was a moment, you go back when you was at your house watching the Alabama-South Florida game.
Yeah.
They looked like...
It was like 3-0.
Yeah, they were terrible. And we're over here laughing like...
And then they come out, they're terrible. This ain't the same Bama. And then they whoop Ole Miss 24-10, solid.
And just every
game. And then they started building momentum.
Yes,
every started getting better and better. Tennessee, second half. I mean, completely different team.
And I look at this, too, everybody's talking about Saban. Me big time. Bama's down. Ain't the same Bama. Okay, every Thursday, Bama's on Pat McAfee's show talking to them. He's always doing all these media things. If they're so bad, Nick Saban ain't doing this other stuff. He ain't worried. And I think this is right where he wants to be. I think he really wants to be in this situation.
Dude, they're 8-1. They have Kentucky, should win.
In Lexington.
Chattanooga, should kill.
I don't know, man.
Auburn.
That game, they should win.
Nah, should be 11-1.
If they finish 11-1, Georgia wins out. You're looking at Georgia and them in the SEC title game.
Yes, absolutely. Georgia's got to beat Ole Miss. This game coming up this week, it's going to be huge. I'm looking forward to this one. But yeah, Bama, like I said at the beginning of the season, it's Bama. Can never count them out. Never count out Nick Saban.
Well, see, here's the thing.
Never.
Georgia's fine. Even if they lose to Ole Miss, they're still leading the East because Missouri.
Oh, yes, in the East, yes. But I'm saying as far as like the West, let's say Ole Miss wins against you all.
Yes.
Then you got Ole Miss and Bama battling for first.
Well, they beat that. Bama has the tiebreaker, so you need Bama to lose 2 games.
That's what I'm saying. It'll be Bama. It'll be Bama and Ole Miss. Is what it sounds like.
Well, it would be no, because if Ole Miss beats Georgia. They're still 5-1 in conference. Bama would have to lose 2 SEC games because they would have the tiebreaker with the 2 teams having 1 loss. Georgia sealed their fate to go to the SEC title game this week unless they lose 2 games.
Georgia would have to lose to Ole Miss and Tennessee.
No,
for the East.
Nope, they're good because they had the tiebreaker against Missouri. They would have to lose 2 games, and you all would have to beat them. That would be the only way. Anybody other than Georgia would make the SEC title game out of the East. So if they lost to Ole Miss this week, and you all beat them in Knoxville, you all are now the number 1 team in the East, and then you'll be playing Alabama again to rematch an SEC title. Unless the wheels fall off Alabama and they lose 2 games.
Yeah. I don't see that happening.
Man. That gets scary if you think about that. Georgia ends up dropping the ball here against Ole Miss, go into Knoxville the following weekend, and then
He drops it again.
Tennessee knows they win that game, they're in the driver's seat for the SEC title. Woo!
Interesting.
Woo!
That's what always happens. Because we'll be there, folks. If y'all didn't know, Hess and I are going with one of our good buddies, Caleb Johnson, 11/18/2023, so right at 2 weeks away. Yeah, we're going to be there. We're going to be in Knoxville for the Georgia game. Going to be insane.
Fun fact here: Georgia's allowed 108 points on the year.
Wow.
Alabama's allowed 116.
Alabama's defense is good. I've said that all year. They're good. Their defense is good.
The next closest to those two schools is Tennessee, allowing 123.
Tennessee's not bad. We've had a couple bad pass defenses, but
high scoring team in the SEC points for. Ole Miss has scored 407 points this year. Then Georgia at 354, and then
Tennessee's 4th or 5th.
Then Ole Miss at 349, and then Tennessee at 313, and then Missouri.
We bumped up after this week.
Yeah. But
yeah.
Man, if they lose to Ole Miss, man.
Man, I love the SEC. SEC is starting to look like SEC football. It truly is. You're starting to look at these teams a little differently.
Yeah, Ole Miss got it made. Ole Miss beats Georgia. They got UNL Monroe and then Mississippi State.
Shout out to Lane Kiffin doing work down there with Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart had a great game.
He did. Former USC quarterback.
Yeah. Which I know we got him on our quick hitters segment if you want to get into that.
Yeah, we're getting that quick hitters segment. Go ahead, start us off there, bud.
All right. UGA, terrible. Versus Missouri. Another win. 9-0, right?
9-0, man.
Looking ahead to Ole Miss. So we're just talking about Ole Miss. It's going to be a good game. Again, I mentioned this one earlier. UGA closed the game strong. They find a way to win and put the game away, and they did in the fourth quarter. There was a chance there. There was a moment there I was a little nervous for UGA because I was like, oh, my God, Missouri could, come back on this one. But Georgia held strong and does what Georgia does. They put points on the board and, Kirby relies on his defense to win the game, and that's what they do.
I mean, our biggest thing here at this game, I really focused on the passing game of both of these teams. Brady Cook made some bad interceptions. I think it's bad. I think it's funny. We were all talking about how he had that interception streak of not throwing any. Over the last couple of weeks, he's been making costly passes. But one thing that really got him, I mean, I know Missouri had that Cody wide receiver. Well, Cody Schrader, I know he's a walk-on. And they were talking about that story. I don't know if you heard it. But last year, he's only missed one practice his entire time at Missouri, and it was because he had to graduate. And he missed that practice, but he got one of the trainers to give him the playbook of everything they ran at practice. And the head coach from Missouri was in his office, and it was like 9:30. It was 20 degrees at night, snowing. And he noticed somebody was on the field in the middle of the dark. And he thought it was some kid, trying to break into the stadium or whatever. And it was Schrader out there rerunning the whole entire practice by himself. He was doing all the drills, all the plays. But, sorry, he balled out for him, though. He had 22 carries for 112 yards. But
he was second in the SEC in rush yards.
He was first, so I don't know. He may move to
I think he's second.
But the big thing there with Missouri, though, they got two good receivers, but Luther Burden.
I know he got hurt.
Yeah.
Did he ever come back in the game?
He did, but he wasn't the same. Thing with that's made Georgia so good. And I think it's what's not a lot of people are talking about outside of the SEC. Yeah, Brock Bowers went out, but Ladd McConkey came in.
McConkey's good.
He's not had less than 90 yards receiving any game he's been back in. And he didn't score a touchdown this game. Oscar Delp did, which is the backup for Brock Bowers. And
stud.
Beck's not making any mistakes. He's out there. He was 21 for 32 for 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Calm and relax, man.
And that's the thing. Like, that game, I'm sitting here watching. I'm like, oh, man, this is, even in the fans, they were like, oh, boy, Missouri's here, and Beck just so calm and relaxed. And especially with that next game coming up, Ole Miss coming to Athens next week, that was a perfect game for Georgia to kind of be looking ahead. And they sealed it.
Didn't catch them sleeping. Yeah, they closed strong fourth quarter. It was a game until the fourth, and then they found a way to put it away. Typical great team knows how to put it away.
Yeah. My favorite thing of that entire thing, though, had to be Missouri's kicker, Harrison Mevis. They called him the thicker kicker.
Thicker kicker.
He's
Gotta love it.
5'11", 243 is what it says, but I think they're saying now he's like up to 270. But
Bulking.
yeah, we bulking. I thought that was great. But
He's trying to kick the 60-yarder, man. Got to put on a little extra weight.
hey, he kicked that 61-yarder to win that big win they had against was it LSU?
Hey, we'll see him. We'll see him next week.
Yeah. Looking ahead to next week, Georgia does play Ole Miss. Georgia is 11.5-point favorite. The over/under is 58.5, so they're kind of expecting it to be kind of high scoring, or they're expecting Georgia to score 40 and Ole Miss score 10. I don't really know what's happening there. Weather looking ahead, it's going to be a nice, crisp. I think it's a night game. It is. It's going to be a 7:00 game, so that's going to be great. Night game in Athens on ESPN. 51 degrees at kick. Definitely going to be one we're going to cover this week. It's definitely one y'all need to mark on your calendars. Lane Kiffin's going to come into that game ready to go. He ain't scared of no environment. It's going to be interesting.
Throw the mustard.
Throw the mustard. Move on to the next game. I don't have much to say about this one.
I don't either.
Florida State, Pittsburgh looked scary at first.
First quarter, I think it was 7-10. Or 7-0. Mm-hmm. And then I think Florida State scored 10 in the second quarter, so 10-7 going into half. Yep. A little bit nervous there, but then third quarter, they put up 14 unanswered. One pretty big, 24-10. Didn't let them score again. So Pitt's kind of one of those teams that's been kind of streaky this year. Like, they'll kind of sneak up on you. So hats off to Florida State for, closing out the game and no questions asked in the second half.
Next game, I misread your text. I didn't even look at the score. You said you said Arkansas beat Florida. I thought you meant that Florida beat Arkansas on that one, and I was like, "Oh, that's it. Sam Pittman's out." But no, that's a good win for Arkansas. I can't remember what the score was for that one, but
39-36.
Yeah, great win for Arkansas. I love Sam Pittman, former Georgia Bulldog offensive line coach. Sam Pittman's a great coach. It was a big win for him. He needed it. Keep his job there. Billy Napier.
It was at the Swamp.
Yeah, it was at the Swamp. I think it's like the first time in 4 years that Arkansas's beat them, or four games at the Swamp. Big win for Arkansas. Big win for Sam Pittman. Happy for him. Not to get too much into it, but I'm starting to wonder if Billy Napier's even the guy to be down there in Florida. Like, I need to just go
5-4 now.
Let's call over Meyer, bring him back.
Same record in the SEC as Kentucky. So
yeah, let's move on though to the next one. Ole Miss and Texas A&M. That game was.
That was great. Great game.
Great game. Absolutely.
Lived up to the hype.
It did.
Ole Miss held on to win 38-35. Scored a touchdown, I think, with 1 minute and 8 seconds left to take the lead. 38-31, and then they came down and kicked a field goal to make it 38-35.
Yep.
Jackson Dart, like I mentioned earlier, great game. 24 for 33, 387 yards and 2 touchdowns. No turnovers.
Yep.
Jimbo Fisher, he's now 5-4 with the Aggies. And they still have LSU remaining. So I look for the Aggies to finish 7-5 this year. Basic season. Should have kept someone, is what it's telling me. I think they just wasted their money on a big. They did a big name hire and didn't actually go after the right guy. If you want to play someone, obviously you think Jimbo Fisher national championship team, just not happening there. And honestly, Texas A&M is one of those schools that anybody should be able to come into and figure it out because they got all the resources,
everything.
Like the 12th man. I mean, it's insane there. So yeah, a lot of oil money there. So they should be able to get whoever they want.
Yep.
We'll see what happens. I got a question there at the end of the pod about old Jimbo. So
Jimbo.
We'll get into that. But Cal, Oregon. I don't know why I put this one on here, but because
it was close there for a minute.
It's close for a minute, but. At Oregon, landslide win, 63-19. Bo Nix, again, Heisman candidate, 29 for 38, 386 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Love watching him play at Oregon. It's so nice.
Yeah, another player I want to talk about there, just out of that game, on the Cal side of it, Jaden Yott. He had 20 carries for 93 yards and a touchdown. Cal's young. They're 1-5 in conference. That game was close in the first quarter. Oregon was only up 14-10. In that, and then the second quarter they just blew up. It's 21-3 outscored them in the second quarter, and then after half, Cal came out. The third quarter was kind of boring. It was only 7 points scored by Oregon, 6 by 2 field goals by Cal, and then the fourth quarter it was a repeat of the second quarter. It was a 21-0 shutout there, and that's where the game just blew up. The second quarter, fourth quarter,
63 points against an actual opponent. I mean, that's impressive. Somebody in your actual conference is what I'm getting at.
And I mean, Cal, they're starting a freshman quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. He's a freshman.
Yeah.
I mean,
Callum must beat USC.
Yeah.
So had a chance.
That's right.
So I didn't sleep on Cal on this one, but yeah, Oregon's still that team for me. That's that one team that could make it into the Final Four.
I'm a big fan of Oregon. Dan Lanning.
They're good. They're good.
Yeah,
very good.
They're very good. Anything else you guys want to talk about college football? Anything?
I think that's good, man. We've been talking about college football for an hour. We always do college football long. Right now, it's the heart of the seasons. So let's get into the big boy football.
Big boy football. NFL. Let's talk about the Thursday night game.
Thursday night game, yes, sir.
Pittsburgh Steelers, Tennessee Titans. Pittsburgh, man, quarterback situation there is getting hairy. It's getting really hairy. I know I was going to talk about it. You put it here too. They're winning games. They've been outgained in every game this year.
Every game. First time in history.
There's another team that's doing that too. I can't remember who it is, but they ain't winning the games. It's you and one more team are the only teams in the. There's 8. There's 2 teams.
Broncos, maybe?
No, Broncos got one of the top 5 offenses. It's weird. But
I don't know.
What's really crazy though is just I feel like you are a quarterback away.
Potentially.
Pickett's been garbage this year. Trubisky has been hot garbage.
Finally you admit it.
But y'all have no offensive line. And now,
no offensive line.
And now George Pickens is mad. He's posting on Instagram like Antonio Brown.
Deleted all the stuff with Steelers in it. And then, he had negative 1 yard, I think, in that game.
Two targets for negative 1 yards. And then he posted some kind of cryptic thing on his Instagram. And in the bottom it said, "Free me."
But if you look, I mean, the dude's not getting free. He's not getting open. So go back and watch film.
My thing,
that whole game he was covered whole game.
Well, my thing I think with his argument is he does get open at times, but there's nobody else.
Open the playbook too. I mean, Canada's very dry.
There's nobody else there either, and I mean that's the other thing too. Granted, I didn't know he deleted all the Steelers stuff. I was kind of thinking too. Maybe he's saying "free me," as in like you were saying.
I think he put it back on though, or something like that. But I know he did delete it because that's what was reported.
But I know you were like he said that "free me" thing, and I was thinking maybe like you were talking about open up that playbook, get some more plays out here. Let's free up the passing game because did y'all get Deontay Johnson? Did he come back this week?
Yeah, Deontay Johnson actually got his first touchdown since 2021.
So I mean that's big, but again, quarterback play has been very subpar. It's not been Pittsburgh Steelers.
No.
Don't get me wrong. I know Pickett's young, but I mean, I'm just not. It's like he's stalled out. Like I haven't seen much growth in him. There's no offensive line there. Your run game.
It kind of reminds me of Zach Wilson, in a way, because we kind of talk about Zach Wilson, and then Zach Wilson has a great game, then he doesn't have a good game. But one thing with Pickett though, he finds a way to win the fourth quarter, which is really weird.
Tebow.
He's done it. He's done it like 4 times in a row.
Yeah,
I think they had a stat on it. Four drives in the fourth quarter, puts up a touchdown, they take the win.
But all that aside, I've been big on coaching this whole podcast. Y'all are 5-3. This is another great coaching team by Mike Tomlin. He's doing really well.
Y'all defense, man.
I mean, who's y'all's defense? Is Dan Capers y'all's defense coordinator? He retired last year.
I don't know. I have to look up names.
But, on the other side of the ball, though, Will Levis, he didn't have no touchdowns, but I think he was like 21 for 29 for 236 yards. He had no touchdowns.
Yeah, he lost.
But he played good. I mean, that was the Titans' defense. They didn't play. They made mistakes. Y'all held Derrick Henry in check.
Yep, that defense.
Outside of DeAndre Hopkins, there wasn't much there in the passing game. But Levis didn't make mistakes. And then his second start in Pittsburgh,
he looked good.
You can't say nothing bad about that. Kids. And that's the third thing. I didn't watch much of that game, but I watched the highlights. He got that stone cold look to him.
You had to watch it on Prime,
Yeah.
So
he had that stone cold look about him. Like it didn't matter if he was getting sacked.
Yep.
It didn't matter if he made a bad play or if somebody didn't do the right route. He's not up there throwing his arms up and down. He's just like, all right, this is football. Let's go back out and do it again. So
yeah, he'll be after coming out for a breakup too with his girlfriend. He played pretty good.
Yeah, but again, Pittsburgh moves to 5-3. Still driver's seat for the playoffs, and I mean,
got Green Bay coming up. Should
win that game.
Good chance to win. So it could be 6-3, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying though. Like, let's just say hypothetically here, y'all kept Josh Dobbs, which I'm going to get into that in a minute because I got a really fun thing about Josh Dobbs here.
Which they would have.
I mean, just somebody like that. Like if you would have had.
Yep.
Because I'm not a fan of Pickett. I'm not a fan. I like Trubisky, but I think he's also a system quarterback. I don't think he fits your all system.
Not at all.
But anyway, that's what
Need a new OC too. I mean, that whole offense needs a whole
revamp.
Yep.
But let's move on though. Another rookie quarterback I want to talk about.
Oh, stud.
C.J. Stroud.
CJ Stud.
I was not going into that draft. Nothing against him. Knew he was a good quarterback, but I was not thinking. Granted, Anthony Richardson's hurt. I was big on Anthony Richardson, but
You were.
But Stroud, I didn't see this coming out of him. I was thinking Ohio State quarterback. Yeah,
I thought he'd be good, but I didn't think he'd be this good.
Dude, he's doing a lot with nothing down there in Texas with the Texans right now. And after, like we mentioned in today's game, 5 touchdowns, 470 yards. Dude's a winner. he's putting
insane, man.
He's putting a team on his back.
Baker had a good game.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't play bad. I think 22 for 30 or something like that. I mean, he had a very solid game.
Yeah.
268 yards. You know, the game ended up being really close. I think it was a 3-point game, 39-36, something like that. 38-36.
39-37.
39-37.
Yep.
I knew it was really close. Yeah, a fun fact for you too. He's the greatest passing game from a rookie QB.
Yeah, man.
He passed Andrew Luck.
Oh, dude, it was a phenomenal game. Like, it was funny. I had to start him in fantasy this week because I had a injury to one of my quarterbacks, and then I had a bye week, so I had to start him, and he blew up and was a high-scoring quarterback in fantasy this year. Unless Burrow keeps doing whatever he's doing in Buffalo tonight. But
yeah, how's that game going? By the way, do you have that game?
Yeah, it's fourth quarter, 14 minutes, 13 seconds left in the fourth. Buffalo's got the ball. They're down 21-10. Bengals are winning.
Ouch.
But yeah, let's keep going through the games this week. Had an early morning game in Frankfurt, Germany. Fun fact about this game, the Chiefs asked the NFL to play this game in Germany if they could pick a game because they didn't want the Kansas City fans to boo Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. Guten Tag.
So, and I don't know if you've seen that game either. I turned it on for him, went to church this morning. The ref, one of them spoke German.
Really?
And he had to make the call, and he said it in German. And it was just really.
He said it in Germany.
He said it in Germany. Yeah, he did say it in Germany because he was in Germany. But he spoke it in German. It was like a pass interference, personal foul. But he said all of it in German. It was really weird. Everybody was like, "What did he just say?" But
I was just like Miami's coach. You know, when he comes into the press conference, he said, "Guten Tag."
He's crazy. You just say he was running from the camera.
He's hilarious. But I love watching him.
Before we leave that game, dude.
But being hilarious doesn't make you win football games.
Dolphins, they can beat the bad teams. They ain't beating the good teams.
Nah, they're dull. That was a dull game. I don't know if you watched it, but it was.
I watched the beginning of it, and then we went to church.
I did too. But, didn't miss nothing.
It wasn't much. But moving on, big win for the Browns today. That defense shut out 27-0 over the Cardinals. We talked about the Texans and Buccaneers. Saints beat the Bears 24-17. Packers beat the Rams 20-3. The Rams offense just went straight down the tubes. Cam Akers got hurt in that game. Patriots drop another one at home to the Commanders.
2-7.
Yep, they picked off Mac Jones to win that game. I think Sam Howell had a pretty game in that game. That moves the Commanders to 4-5.
Wow.
Sam Howell is 29 for 45 for 325 yards and a touchdown. Another fun fact: Terry McLaurin is in charge of over 91% of all receiving yards, which is the most in NFL history for one team. So he's literally getting everything for them. The other game that I wanted to talk about, the rest of the games, we'll run through them. Colts won 27-13 over the Panthers. They're struggling. Bryce Young. Talked about the Giants. Daniel Jones went out with possible ACL tear. The Raiders won that game 30-6 with Antonio Pierce as their head coach, coaching against his former team. And then the Eagles squeaked out a close one against Dallas, 28-23.
It was closer than I thought. Yeah.
But the game I want to talk about today,
we them boys,
the Vikings and the Falcons. Now, coming into this game, Kirk Cousins.
Come on, you passed one you did not talk about that really surprised me and kind of worries me a little bit.
The Ravens
and Seahawks, 38-3.
And Lamar Jackson didn't play good at all.
Yeah, that's scary with the Ravens. But anywho, go ahead.
The game I want to talk about, though, yeah, I know that Ravens, I forgot about that, but Lamar, he didn't play good. That defense is good.
Ravens.
But
Ravens good.
Vikings, Falcons. Coming into this game, Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles last week. He posted on his Instagram the only touchdowns he'd be throwing would be to Cooper, and it was him throwing in the recliner. He's got his leg up in the recliner, throwing touchdowns to his little boy on the couch. But coming into that game, Jarian Hall got his first NFL start. He was a fifth-round pick for them this year. But they had newly acquired Josh Dobbs this week during the trade deadline. Dobbs didn't participate in any practice. He hadn't even received his playbook yet. He knew nothing about the Vikings. He ended up going into that game. He finished 20 for 30 for 158 yards, 2 touchdowns, and led them to victory over the Falcons in a 31-28 game. Josh Dobbs also finished with 7 carries for 66 yards and 1 touchdown. Probably single-handedly the greatest game he's had in his NFL career, and the dude had no idea what the offense was or who. He don't even – that was another thing. They asked him, they said, what did you think about your center or something like that? He's like, I don't even know what his name is. And he didn't know none of his receivers' names. He didn't even know the head coach's name. He knew that.
Love it.
I mean, wow.
Dude's a genius. Yeah, dude's smart.
Yeah.
Can read defenses.
Or we're all just think that the NFL's super, super hard, and he's just proven that it's just easy. I don't know. But, wow.
I love Dobbs, man.
And another thing that's just – I don't understand what's going on in Atlanta. You draft Bijan Robinson, that dude's an –
Oh, hold on. That makes the Vikings over 500 as well. I think they're 5-4.
5-4. 4-1 on the road.
Yeah, they've won 4 straight, I think.
Yep. They're on a roll right now. But the Falcons, though, you draft Bijan Robinson, and they're barely – he had 11 carries for 51 yards. They're not doing much with him.
Nope.
And then
he started off good.
Yeah.
And Falcons have cooled off, definitely.
Yeah. They did have started.
Go back to the Vikings, too. They don't have Justin Jefferson right now.
Their leading receiver was T.J. Hawkinson today with 7 catches for 69 yards.
That's impressive.
The Falcons, though, too, back to them. Kyle Pitts, another guy they drafted last year, not doing much with him.
Nothing.
Jonnu Smith was their leading receiver. He's a tight end. That's what's weird. Jonnu Smith's a tight end, and he's overdoing Kyle Pitts, who's drafted top 10.
Yep, that's just how it goes.
And, again, the Falcons, they benched Desmond Ridder this week and started Tyler Heineke. And, I don't know, Falcons, they just –
yeah, Tyler Hennessy didn't do that good.
Yeah, Tyler Heineke. But, yeah, that's about all I got for the NFL. You got the Sunday night game going on right now. The Bengals got the ball back. They're up 21-10. Looks like I think the Bengals are kind of controlling this game right now.
Yeah, I figured they would.
Looking ahead, though, man, let's make our picks for the Monday night football game. You got the Los Angeles Chargers going to New York to play the New York Jets.
Give me the Jets.
Got the Jets. Taking the Jets. I'm going to take the Jets as well. I'm going to take the Jets, too. And I think it'll be a very low-scoring game, but I think the Jets' defense will be the reason the Jets win that game.
Betty and the Jets.
Okay. All right. All right, man. Let's move on to the NBA. Let's get out of that before you start singing, because you start singing, then I'll start singing.
You get to sing John Denver. I get to sing that, man. Come on.
Benny and the Jets. That's good. I like it.
Let's go.
But, yeah, NBA focus. A lot going on in the NBA right now, the in-season tournament. What do you think about those courts?
I like them.
Did you see the Chicago?
Yes, the red one. Yes. I saw a blue one, too. I think it was Oklahoma City. It's hard kind of to watch it as a fan because you're like, where'd the basketball go?
Yes, go.
Basketball go.
Yes.
Where'd the basketball go?
Where at?
Oh, man, I'll get tired here. But, yeah. I did like it. I actually did like the court. I thought it was cool. Something different to see watching as a fan, so I thought it was cool.
Well, it's going pretty good, though. Seems like it's been pretty good. Been some good games. I've been watching a little bit of it. Grizzlies had their did they get their first?
You want to talk about like a court or like a fan base? Go watch basketball in, I think it's Serbia.
Oh yeah, I sent you that.
And it looks like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, the Flyers.
That's what I want to watch. I want to watch that on TV.
Right?
Yeah, go. Yeah, any fans listening or viewers, go watch some Serbian basketball if you want a cool little clip.
Today's games in the NBA, though, you had the Mavericks. They beat the Hornets 124-118. The Cavaliers beat the Warriors 115-104.
Sleeper in the East.
Raptors won in overtime 123-116 over the Spurs. The Suns beat the Pistons 120-106. KD dropped 41 points.
Whew. Go back to the Spurs. Wemby, I think he had 38 or 39 this week, which
Wemby.
I think's one of the most for a rookie.
Me and another guy were talking.
Wendy's good.
The development of the European international players, how they develop in the youth compared to how we do it in the States. They're way ahead of us as far as basketball and development. Like his ball handling skills to be that tall it's so nice.
He's good.
Another game going on right now. The only other game going on right now in the NBA is the Trailblazers and the Grizzlies.
Give me a score.
Trailblazers are up 84-82 right now with 39 seconds left in the third quarter.
Okay, a question on this one. Do the Grizzlies get their first win tonight against Portland? No. So you're saying the Grizzlies are the only team, by the way, folks, that's still undefeated, or still have not won a game. They're not undefeated. They're undefeated in the loss column. They're 0-6. They're still playing without Ja Morant. I don't think he comes back till like January time frame. Because he pulled out a weapon. I can't say that on the stream here. But yeah, don't do that, folks. Grizzlies, terrible. I almost guess I think they go 0-7 tonight.
Looking ahead though, tomorrow night you got a big appearance. James Harden will make his Clippers debut tomorrow night against the Knicks.
Give me the Knicks.
Wendell Carter hurt his finger. I think it was a broke finger dislocation. He's out at least 3 weeks for the Magic. Denver had to repaint the 3-point line during the thing. The 3-point line was in the wrong place for their thing, so they had to repaint it. I talked about C.J. McCollum. He has a collapsed lung. And Suns, Booker has a strained calf. He said he didn't play against the Pistons. So
Devin Booker. I wanted to mention LeBron real quick. 38 years old. He had 38 points the other night. He broke the oldest NBA player record since Jabbar. With that had a 30-point game. I thought that was impressive.
Yeah,
I wanted to just throw that stat out there. The dude's incredible at basketball.
Just to run through some things before we leave the NBA too. The Celtics still haven't lost. They're 5-0. They're leading the East. The 76ers are 4-1. The Atlanta Hawks are 4-2. The Magic are 4-2. The Bucks are 3-2, and the Indiana Pacers are 3-3. The worst team in the East right now is the Wizards at 1-4, close by the Bulls at 2-5. In the West, you got a little bit more competitiveness. You got the Nuggets at 6-1, the Mavericks at 6-1, the Golden State Warriors at 5-2, because they actually been playing pretty well this year.
They have.
Pelicans 4-2, Minnesota 3-2, and Clippers 3-2. Again, James Harden making his debut tomorrow night against the Knicks. Lakers 3-3, and then again, like you said, the Memphis Grizzlies are 0-6, and they round out the last place team.
Yeah, terrible.
All right, man. The NBA, we flew through that one a little bit. We're going to get more. We'll get more into that as it goes on, gets more in depth into the season. Listen,
basketball come down here a little bit. A couple more weeks.
NBA just now getting started. We'll keep tabs on it and we're going to do some more focus on that. But we also talked last podcast though about the PGA Tour. They had the Worldwide Technology Championship. I picked Beau Hossler to win. He finished tied for 13th. The winner. Granted, I'm not sure if I'm going to say his name correct. I think it's spell checked wrong. It's Erik van Rooyen. He looked like he was from South Africa was his flag. Not many big people in that match. It was kind of a...
Not the gala, dude.
I'll look that up real fast. That's who you picked, wasn't it?
I either picked him or Hauser, maybe.
It's Erik van Rooyen. He eagles 18 to win the World Technology Championships. It's actually a pretty good tournament.
Ooh, eagled 18.
Eagled 18. Where's the standings for it? Can't get the standings to pull up. It's being finicky. Sorry.
I almost picked Kuchar, too, so Matt Kuchar.
Matt Kuchar? He was up there somewhere. Okay, here it is. I got him right here. Maybe. Show me the whole thing. All right. You had Erik van Rooyen won. Matt Kuchar finished second. Erik van Rooyen finished at 27 under. Matt Kuchar finished at 25 under. Carmelo Villegas finished at 25 under. Justin Suh at 24 under. Ryan Palmer at 22 under. Carson Young, 20 under. Who else did you want me to see? Who was it?
Who'd you pick?
I picked Beau Hossler. He finished at 18 under, tied for 15th.
15. Top 15 finish, not bad at all.
There wasn't no really big names in this one.
Yeah, Kuchar was the biggest one that I recognized when I was going through looking. Like I said, I think in the pod I mentioned that he could very well win that one. But I didn't pick him. I didn't have him as my pick.
No, but see player stats here. Driving accuracy, Adam Long. He hit all fairways. He didn't miss a single fairway.
Must be nice.
Putts per green, Matt Kuchar. He had 1.56 putts per green, so
Jeez.
he was all over the green. He killed it. Longest drive.
Yeah, he shot 25 under.
Yeah,
yeah, that's pretty good.
And the purse for that one was $8.2 million. So, wow,
that's a very nice ending purse.
Yes.
I mean, 1 point something, 2 million, something like that.
Again,
probably,
a very quiet tournament. Not much happening. Not many big names in it, but it was just something we kind of wanted to cover base with.
Yeah.
But let's get to the end of it, man. The ending question. You proposed it. Jimbo Fisher, struggling. 5-4 on the year right now. I think he is 1 and I can't remember what it is. Something against ranked teams.
1-6, I think. 1-7.
1-7, something like that against ranked teams. Not sure his road record's not much better.
Nope.
The question is, does Texas A&M need to move on from Jimbo, or as you put, is Jimbo gone? No.
One word answer.
Yes.
I agree. I think he's gone. I think he's gone after this year.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
If they finish 7-5, I think they're just going to have like a bye.
Yeah, I mean, they should. If they keep him another year, you're going to have the same thing next year.
Yeah, it's going to be 7-5 or 8-4.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a Texas A&M. I was talking about like it is a resourceful program.
Mm-hmm.
They do have national championship vibes and everything. They do have a tough football schedule. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I agree.
They really do every year.
But again, with that coach, you brought him in that money, the talent they got,
were ranked,
the resources.
They were ranked top 5, I think, starting out the year or something like that.
Sixth or seventh.
Yeah, they were good.
And they're there every year. I mean, they got the facilities, they got the players, they got the talent, they got the money. They had the apparent coach. This is not what you do when you have all that. So
that was good, man, right there. I like that. That was a good take. You should be rapping.
No, not Vanilla Ice.
Oh.
Sorry.
Thought that was
anyway,
good.
we'll get to our final thoughts. Final thoughts and thank yous again, guys. We're keeping this thing going. Where are we on? Episode 9?
Episode 9, almost in double digits. This coming week, we'll be in double digits.
We're here our 10th episode. Like right now, Castle's on vacation. He's doing it. Vacation, taking time away from his family while they're on vacation. He's doing this.
They're all asleep now.
Oh, good for them. Glad they're sleeping.
Yeah.
I've been battling. I'm finally feeling better. Hope y'all can tell a difference in my sound. I do appreciate, though, people have been walking up to me at some of Braxton's practices. People I've been seeing at my work. Everybody's been listening. It's just commenting to us, even like when Tyler's at the gym, stuff like that.
Yep.
We appreciate it more than y'all know. I thank you guys. Castle, you got any other thank yous or anything you want to shout out to somebody?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody, too, for, keep tuning in, keep watching us. We really do appreciate it. We really do take into consideration everything that's said to us, good or bad. We'll take it. Keep watching us on YouTube, Spotify. We love seeing the feedback, the voting. My gosh, it's cool seeing on Facebook the polls we do. And you look down, you got 30 votes on a quick little poll. I mean, that's awesome feedback.
Love it.
We're trying to get our viewers and everything more involved. Shoot us an email. I think it's TS Talking Sports
at Gmail.
We're going to have a little bit of a hot take this coming week. We did have.
Speaking of that, before you go into that, we did put that out there about the people coming out or you all reaching out to us, asking us a question or a take you want us to go over. We did have one email. I'm not going to mention who it was from, but if they are listening, they will hear this. I want to go over
next week.
I want to go ahead just because we got one for this week, but
okay.
Final thoughts here. It was brought to our attention. The 49ers made the big trade to get Chase Young to come to the 49ers. Last year, they got Christian McCaffrey at the same time at the deadline, didn't win a Super Bowl. Now they've got a stud defense. You got Nick Bosa. You got both Nick Bosa and you got Chase Young. They got that offense. If the 49ers, it was brought to us, if the 49ers do not go, at least make the Super Bowl, do we believe that Kyle Shanahan should be in the hot seat? Me personally, no. Because I look at where the 49ers were before. If they made another Super Bowl, though it's at 2 Super Bowls in 2 years.
Yeah.
No, but eventually, in a year or two, if they keep doing it, yeah, because you expect the Super Bowls. That's my take on it. I think Kyle Shanahan's a good coach.
So I like that question. I mean, that can go either way if you really think about it. Because NFL, obviously, if you're not winning Super Bowls, what are you doing?
Right.
So, but that's like every organization. I mean, you could say that about the Cowboys. Look how much money they put into head coaches and players and, and the Steelers. I mean, my God, I love Mike Tomlin, but we haven't won a Super Bowl in almost 15 years, It feels like. So, I could say the same thing as a Steelers fan, but I love Mike Tomlin because he's a great
Yeah.
coach. And I don't think whoever you replace, who you going to replace him with is my thing. Who you going to replace Kyle Shanahan with? I mean, he's a great coach, obviously.
If I Kyle Shanahan, there's going to be 10 teams lined up to try to get him to be their head coach. I mean,
right?
So,
I don't think you can't get rid of Shanahan for what he's done as quick as he's done it at San Francisco. I know San Francisco's going through a rough little spell here. Every team does it. I think they're now 5-3, right?
Yeah.
So they've lost 3 straight. They could still win out the rest of the season. We don't know what's going to happen.
They'll be fine.
They'll fine. Brock Purdy will figure it out. He's out there plowing fields on his tractor during the week. Not when he's on a practice or not playing a football game. He'll figure it
out. Last little thing here, I want to add this. Been a lot of people reach out, or a couple people talk about NASCAR. I do follow NASCAR. I watch every race. There's not a race. You can ask my wife. She hates me for it. I do. I watch every single race. Heck, I even watch the truck races and the Xfinity races. The NASCAR season ended today. Friday night, they crowned their Truck Series champion in Ben Rhodes. The Xfinity crowned their champion last night in Cole Custer. And today, Ryan Blaney captured his first ever championship. He beat out Kyle Larson and William Byron. Ross Chastain ended up winning the race. It's the first time in 10 years that the champion hasn't won the final race. Ross Chastain won.
Final race.
Yeah. But the other big news out of that, first off, I was very excited to see Ryan Blaney win. He's very old school. It's also the first time in NASCAR history that one manufacturer won every championship, and that would be Ford. Ford won the truck championship, Xfinity, and the Cup championship. That's back-to-back championships for Roger Penske. Joey Logano won last year. Ryan Blaney won this year. Dude deserved it. He's so old school. He's what I grew up watching in NASCAR. I love Ryan Blaney. But on the other side of it, a legend of NASCAR raced his final race today, and that was Kevin Harvick. He did retire. This is his final race. He decided he was going to retire at the beginning of the year.
How'd Jeff Gordon do?
Jeff Gordon looked really good, got a lot of gray hair. Chase Elliott finished winless on the year. It's the first time in his career he hasn't won a race.
He had an injury there, right?
He did.
He got
he broke his leg in a ski accident, and then he got suspended for wrecking Denny Hamlin. Just a lot of stuff happened to him this year.
Yeah, a lot of drama.
But it was a great season. NASCAR still they're working on getting better. It's getting back to where it used to be back in the day in its heyday. But again, congratulations to Ryan Blaney, Team Penske. It was cool to see. That's who I wanted to see win.
I got something about NASCAR. I know it's crazy, right? Because I never talk about NASCAR. I don't even watch it. But they are going to be racing somewhere new next year that they used to race many years ago.
Go ahead.
Watkins Glen, North Carolina.
North Wilkesboro.
That's it. Have a good night. I'm just trying to do NASCAR.
They actually raced at North Wilkesboro this year in the All-Star race.
Oh.
But they're bringing it.
Never mind.
They're bringing it.
I don't know crap about NASCAR. I'm just going to shut it.
They're going to do it again, though, this upcoming year.
Hang on.
Oh, okay. But, yeah, great win by Ryan Blaney and that team. Glad to see it. I'm excited to see where some of these other NASCAR teams, there's a lot of seats open across Xfinity and Cup Series. Excited to see where like Matt DiBenedetto and some of these other people go. But that's for my NASCAR fans out there, guys. Feel free to reach out to me if y'all got NASCAR questions. You want more out of NASCAR? I am definitely your guy. I've absorbed into that sport. I got diecast everywhere in this house.
Yeah, I watch it all the time. So definitely reach out. Left turn.
But guys, that's it. That's it for episode 9. Episode called Chaos. I enjoyed it. I appreciate Castle taking time out of your vacation, man, to record this and make this happen.
I do this for you all, the fans, the listeners, and my boy.
I appreciate it, man. Hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful week. Have a great Monday. Started off with a bang. Castle, enjoy the rest of your night. Be safe tomorrow heading home, buddy. Take your time. I know you got the kids and the dog. I say kids, but you got the kid and the dogs.
Dogs, yeah. Sure, hey, it's a lot.
You got that wife you got to get home, so.
Yeah, boy.
But you all be safe. Tell your family I said hi. Hope you all had a great vacation. Again, man, appreciate you getting on tonight and doing this.
Will do, brother.
All right, man.
I'll let you know when I get back.
All right, man. Sounds good. Guys, let's go episode live. We'll go live at 6 a.m. in the morning, Monday morning. It'll be live on all major platforms. You all know that by the time you listen to this is the end of it, so it really don't matter, I'm telling you. But y'all have a great week. We'll be back Thursday with episode 10.
Episode 10, double digits.
All right, see you guys.
Take care. Bye.